Hey everybody, how you doing today? I want to talk a little bit about George McTitle's video entitled Debt Slave Dating in the Matrix. Couple of things that caught my attention in this was that a lot of guys in the prepper survivalist community are going after women who have a completely different blueprint than they do when it comes to life. Not just dating, but to life. Obviously, if you are one of those types who want to invest gold and you like to use cash, you don't want to sit there and spend a bunch of money, and you don't want to have, some big fancy house payment or bills or credit cards, etc., going after a woman who values those things is a little bit silly. Now, in regards to relationships, we all have masculine and feminine qualities. One thing that I find is that a lot of guys want to go after the feminine women because feminine women tend to, it's been my experience, tend to be easily swept off their feet by stuff, right? Give them roses, give them chocolates, do etc. They're all about following their emotions. A more masculine woman, she's going to tend to be a little bit more analytical and rational. And she's going to kind of know what's going on. Likewise, if you're a prepper, a survivalist, and you meet a woman who, she's also into guns, she's also into food storage, she's also into, homesteading or whatever. She doesn't have credit cards, and she has all these different things that she does. And say that she's a really good match for you. But, say for example, she goes to the gym 3 times a week, while you yourself sit on your fat butt, eating Cheetos and drinking beer. Obviously, that's going to be a big problem for her, because you're not being consistent. You're basically saying one thing and doing another. And more masculine women tend to have a pretty good bullshit detector. Everybody has a bullshit detector, but when it comes to certain types of women, they're pretty spot on. Now, one of the things that I see in the comments section, George, is somebody basically is being pretty judgmental about women, saying that God does not give women wisdom. That's another problem within the prepper community and within a lot of communities, is that not only do a lot of preppers and survivalists desire the feminine type women who are into the shopping, the credit cards, the house payments, the getting their nails and makeup done every week or something. There's a lot of resentment there. There's a lot of judgmentalism. Because what you're doing is you're trying to make a person be something they're not. I mean, if you want to try to make, some feminine woman into, the rough and ready survivalist chick who's gonna, be able to handle a shotgun as well as you can, you're gonna set yourself up for a lot of frustration and a lot of failure. Now, a few things I want to talk about in regards to core values and blueprints, mental blueprints, psychological. What's your relationship blueprint? What do you want out of a relationship? And to know what you want, you have to know who you are at the core. Most people don't know who they are. You never know. I mean, maybe you'll meet some feminine woman who really gets into, investing in gold. Maybe you'll get one who's really into, learning how to hunt and fish. Doubtful, but maybe. Now, one of the things that I want to discuss is what's your state? What's your state of mind when you go try to meet women? If you have say for example, we're looking for emotional state, mental state, spiritual state, physical state. What's your mental state? If you're feeling all mopey and down about yourself and negative about yourself, who's going to want to be around that? Right? Well, that's one emotional state. Say your mental state is, you have judgments. Clearly there's a lot of preppers and survivalists, especially when I look on George's videos. A lot of the comments on his videos are basically very severe judgments about other people. So if you're judging somebody, but then you're trying to create a relationship with them, that's not going to work. How about spiritually? Well, a lot of survivalists have a very strong belief in God, faith in God, etc. However, unless you're going to be going for, a woman who's Amish, or Mormon, or any of the other various types of denominations where Bible quoting and strict adherence to the Bible is a must, you're not going to be very happy, because the minute you start spewing Bible quotes, most people are going to be like, enough. So what's your spiritual state? And that kind of ties into the judgmentalism of it, because if you're judging other people, you got to kind of wonder, are you really being the loving, Christ-like person that you're claiming to follow? Because, Christ says, follow me. He didn't say, quote what I say and then judge other people. That's just the way it is. How about physically? If you're going after the healthy little feminine woman who does her Pilates or yoga or whatever, and you're kind of a fat slob who doesn't take care of yourself, is she going to be really interested in you? And not that she wouldn't, but we definitely have a society in which men are supposed to be 6-foot hunks of meat. And that's what our society tells feminine women that they should want. And to a great degree, that's, biological, and that's fine. But at the same time, if you're going to go after, say you're a survivalist and you're a prepper and you want to go after some woman who really knows how to handle herself, let's say she does kickboxing, but then you've never walked into a gym in your life, right? Is she going to be that interested in you? Not really. Not saying not saying that's the way it is for all women who are athletic, but you definitely want to take care of yourself, because if you can't take care of yourself physically, then what does that say about other aspects of your life? Secondly, what is your story? What are your successes and failures that you've had in your past that create a story in your mind, and how do they interfere with the present moment? Say, let's say you had problems with redheads in the past, right? Okay. And so you meet some woman, she's a prepper, she's a survivalist, you two are basically two sides of the same coin, but she's a redhead. And what could happen is you could actually sabotage that relationship because of the story that you have in your mind about women who are redheads. And that's a simple example, but you kind of get the idea. One of the things you need to do, though, is you need to change your story. You need to stop telling yourself the past as if it is the present and as if it is the future. And I know we live in a society that tries to take people's pasts and not only keep them in the present moment, but then drag them into the future. We as individuals do this enough on our own, but yet we have a society that says, well, if you were this way back then, you're going to be this way now, and that's how you're going to be forever. Again, history is not destiny. You can change anytime you want. Some people might not like it, but that's their problem, not yours. And it also depends on if you want to change. But a lot of that has to do with your state. It all focuses back to your mental state. Because every experience that you have is a new experience. It's not a past experience. What is your strategy? How do you do you need to change it? How do you change it? Again, strategy relies on what story you tell yourself and your state of, your state, whether it's mental or emotional or physical or spiritual. Say the strategy is say you know your core values, etc. And your strategy is to go down to the local bar every Friday night or whatever. And you see that, well, okay, that's not working. So you say, well, I need to find a new strategy. So say you join an athletic group of some kind. Let's say you join a group that goes hiking or mountain climbing, or say you join a hunting range or something, so that you have social interactions in places where you wouldn't otherwise normally have them. Then you have a better chance of meeting different people and finding somebody closer to who you are. See, a lot of guys make this mistake. They say, well, I want this kind of woman, so I have to go to this place that I would really never go to if not for the women. That's a bad idea. The way you develop a relationship is by having mutual interests. If you have a mutual interest, you've already built the rapport. You've already built a foundation in which she can get to know you and you can get to know her. For example, if George, if your friend Badfinger wanted to meet a woman, chances are he wouldn't go to the mall. Right? He'd probably go to the hunting range. Maybe he'd go to, I'm not really sure where he goes, but point being is if you want to have a relationship with a woman, you have to find a woman who shares the same blueprint you do in regards to life. Well, not share exactly, but to a great degree. Similarities, so that you can both feel connection without it being forced. Personally, like for example, you said the thing of paying with cash. I like paying with cash. I love paying with cash. For some weird reason, so for some women that's a problem. However, there are some women who see that it is becoming a problem. For example, the woman who, she realizes that she's spending way too much on her credit cards. She might say to her husband, hey, cut up my credit cards because, I need to not deal with this. I need to not spend so much money. Those little steps basically will help somebody change to a different blueprint, a different set of beliefs. Now, the woman that you used in your example, George, it sounds like she's got plenty of money to do all that debt paying. And you're right, she probably doesn't understand how much money she could save because she has money going out. And that's really the thing of it. We live in a society where people have become a middleman for their money. They get their money from their boss and then it goes right out. There's really no profit. There's just a transference of money, transference of energy. So, with that said, I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope it helps some of you. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.